We're Group 32, and today we're going to be talking about management and streaming services. My name is Sophie Hollingsworth, and I'm going to be presenting our introduction in the first section of our source article. So, a brief introduction and overview of what our group will be talking about today are streaming services and how these relate to Chapter 5 of our management class. So, bundles, packages, deals, and more are growing quickly in the streaming service marketplace. And an example I wanted to use is the bundle that is Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, as many people are familiar with that bundle. So these discounted packages and bundles for multiple streaming services are becoming extremely popular, and there's a lot of benefits of these bundles, such as customer retention. Now the customers can pay one discounted rate on one bill and access multiple streaming services and a ton of content. Customers are continuing to pay this subscription. And streamers can also expand their reach as people that might pay for ESPN Plus would never consider paying for Disney Plus as well. But now that they can pay for it at one flat rate and have access to all of these different streaming services, they're realizing that they can watch more content that they wouldn't have considered watching before. So there are a lot of entrepreneurial aspects that I wanted to relate back to Chapter 5 that these streaming companies are tapping into and experiencing, specifically identifying new markets and the first mover advantage, which I talk about on this next slide. So, the first section of our source article, there's a few things that I wanted to highlight that I thought were important to discuss today. And that first thing is companies are now simplifying these new bundles. So, there's a lot going on with what streaming services are joining with what other streaming services. So, the example I wanted to talk about is how this Disney Plus package that I mentioned in the last slide they're establishing a solid packaging. So, for example, the Disney Bundle Trio is where you can buy Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, but they also have duo packages where you can only buy two. You can buy them with ads or without ads. So it's really important for these streaming services to create new names so people understand what they're purchasing. And it's also really interesting to see how these rival media companies that were once competing with each other for customers are joining forces because they're realizing that this is a completely new industry that they want to tap into that's going to create great benefits for both companies if they work together, which I wanted to relate to the first mover advantage, which is exploiting a market opportunity before any other company can do so, which results in a competitive advantage, which can lead to monopoly situations and also the learning effect, which is allowing these companies to reduce costs earlier than its followers. This also relates to economies of scales, which is a term that we learned in Chapter 5, which is the relationship between cost and production volume. So, as more and more people are buying these bundles, the cost can go down. And these companies that are accessing this industry first can create more revenue from being ahead of the rest of the industries. But despite all of these advantages, there's still a lot of challenges of how to split revenue, how to manage customer relationships, as all these streaming services used to be competing against each other. So they want to be entrepreneurial, but they also want to be fair. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is from all of this, there are completely new streaming services being created, which is a completely new industry. For example, Disney, Fox, and Warner Bros. Discovery are creating VNews Sports, which is its own streaming platform in itself that three companies are coming together to create. So they're finding a niche in already established markets, which is exploiting a segment of a market that no one else has. And this is a completely new frontier that's also leading to streaming services and companies that were once competing to exploit joint ventures or partnerships.
Hi, my name is Vincent Tran, and today I will be discussing how companies manage their streaming services through strategy, bundling, and partnership. With the rise of streaming services, companies need to make a smart management decision to stay competitive in the market. I will break it down into two key areas. First will be bundle or not bundle. Second will be so many per. First, let's talk about the concept of bundling and why companies choose to bundle their streaming services. To begin with, bundling offers several benefits from company perspective, cost saving, and increased revenue. For example, Disney have Disney Bundle Trio, include Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus at the discount rate, helping increase its subscriber base and revenue. Customer retention. Bundling help reduce customer churn. When customers subscribe to multiple services in bundle, they are less likely to cancel their subscription. However, there are also challenges that company may face with bundling. First, when the company bundles services from different providers, they need to agree on how to split the revenue. This requires a very, very carefully negotiation between company to company. Second, not all streaming services benefit equally from bundling. Dominant platforms like Netflix may not find bundling as advantageous because they already have a large loyal customer base. So as we can see here, there's three pictures. The first picture shows that Max have least overlap with other major streaming services. The data points show that 19% Disney Plus subscriber also subscribe to Max. Lower percentages for Hulu, Apple TV, and Peacock indicate unique subscriber bases. Max stand to gain significantly from being included in the bundle due to its minimal overlap with other services. Second picture, we can see that Paramount Plus have potential bundling strategy with Apple TV and Peacock. The data points show that higher overlap percentage compared to Max, but still percentages presenting bundling opportunity. Bundling Paramount Plus with this service can attract more subscriber and enhance value proportion of users. Lastly, we can see that Netflix have the highest overlap with other major streaming platform. Nearly half of user of most of other major streaming platform also subscriber to Netflix. This high overlap make bundling less appealing to Netflix, which is already dominant in the market. Netflix may focusing less on bundling and more unique content offering or pricing strategy to retain its leading position. Now, let's talk about how we explore the company leverage partnership and perk to enhance value for the customer. Here is some example of how strategy implemented for perk. T-Com provider. T-Mobile offer its customer free Netflix plan and Verizon bundle services like Netflix Max at a discount rate for its customer. This partnership helps the telecom provider add more value to their services. Similarly, Walmart include Paramount Plus as supported plan and Instacart Plus provide asset services like Peacock. This partnership helps retailer to deliver services, attract more subscriber and more streaming services. Other platform, additionally, credit card company and shopping deliver apps offer streaming for example. Customer may get free streaming services through their credit card benefit.
Some of the advantages of perks include cost efficiency, where when the companies partner together, all of the streaming services and their products can actually give their services at a reduced cost. And this increases their base, but it lowers their own prices. They also might have some increased customer loyalties due to these partnerships and the crossover between them. So in conclusion, these companies in the streaming industry use a lot of strategic bundling as we see in this current event. And then they're able to manage their services more effectively in doing so. The next thing we're going to talk about is the final section of the article, which is titled Streaming Nirvana. According to the article, the quote is, "The dream for many consumers is to pay one bill for all their streaming services and access them through one app, seamlessly launching a show on Netflix or Paramount or Disney Plus without switching apps or having to log in again." So we have already seen this with Apple TV and Roku, as it talks about where they're trying to expand in this type of platform. But we're also seeing it with things like Charter and cable, which was kind of the original streaming service from years ago, not so long ago, where they've created this joint venture called Xumo. And they plan to bring streaming and live TV all into one place, possibly bringing cable, which has kind of exited the industry, back onto the scene. But there's a similar concept that's already available through YouTube TV. It's currently $72.99 a month, so it's outside of the budget of a lot of people. I think it has definitely a very niche user base, but there is a promotional rate of $62.99. So at the end of the article, there's also a section titled "We Want to Hear from You." And there's a survey where it's actually asking the reader questions about what streaming services they like to use and if they've canceled any services recently. And that kind of goes into what we talked about in gathering data through surveys. To continue, one management concept we can talk about in relation to this article specifically is cost efficiency. With a combined platform like this, people are able to pay one price for all streaming services and just in one single place, as Vincent has mentioned. But it also relates to the external environment, as we covered in chapter 2. There's been a demand for these types of services for a long time. And so with that demand, like the industry itself is going to be extremely impacted by whether or not people continue to want it to all be in one place, as well as the environment of the economy as a whole.
depending on what inflation looks like in other industries. That affects how much the common individual is willing to spend on entertainment alone. Another concept that we've covered in this course in chapter 5, which talks about identifying niches in an established market where several large firms compete according to relatively well-defined criteria. That's another thing that we talked about. And this is actually kind of identifying a niche, and instead of competing with each other, almost coming together instead of that. And so another topic is evidence-based management, as in chapter 4. This is where multiple companies coming together like this need to make the best possible decisions through looking at data, looking at numbers, look at what people are watching and viewing in order to make decisions, because there will be a lot of different people coming together and companies from different backgrounds. The final thing to relate this article to concepts that we've talked about this semester is organizational technologies and technology and automation, specifically in chapter 15. Most of these services that we're talking about are 100% automated, whether it's Disney Plus, Netflix. And so there's not much human contact that goes on. And there is some question over the direction of things going into the future, if this is truly more productive in the long run or not.
All right. My name is Evan Carr. I'm in group 32, and I will be giving a brief summary of the project and article and tying it into different management concepts. So to start off, while all of these bundles offer potential savings and convenience, they also add complexity to the market. Consumers now need to navigate different options based on their existing subscriptions, service providers, and membership programs, which can be confusing. The article highlights specific bundles like Disney's Disney Bundle Trio, which includes Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, while also mentioning the challenges of rival companies partnering to create new bundles in the established market of streaming. Despite these challenges, bundling can help streaming services retain customers by reducing the rate of cancellations. However, dominant platforms like Netflix, which already have a high retention rate, may find less benefit in bundling. A platform like Netflix is a prime example of a company benefiting from a first mover advantage, being they were one of the first companies ever to touch the streaming market. The article also advises consumers to check if they can access streaming services for free or at a discount through their existing memberships or service providers. For instance, T-Mobile customers may get Netflix for free, and Walmart Plus members might access Paramount Plus without extra cost. While the idea of a single bill for all streaming services is appealing, the market remains complex, with various companies trying to become the main gateway for streaming content. This includes traditional cable providers looking to integrate streaming and live TV into a single package. The creation of bundles reflects strategic pricing decisions aimed at providing value to customers while maximizing revenue. Companies must balance the discounts offered with the need to maintain profitability. This involves analyzing customer willingness to pay and the competitive landscape. Understanding consumer behavior, such as preferences for certain services and sensitivity to price changes, is essential for these companies. Management must analyze data to tailor bundles that meet consumer demand while achieving business objectives. The article also suggests that the streaming market is in an intermediate phase and may become more complex before it simplifies. Management must innovate and adapt their strategies continuously to navigate this evolving landscape and anticipate future trends. Effective customer relationship management ensures seamless experiences and clear communication about bundle benefits. Simplifying billing and integrating multiple services improve operational efficiency, crucial for maintaining customer satisfaction. In summary, the article illustrates how various management concepts are applied in the strategic decisions and operational practices of streaming service providers. Strategic partnerships, market positioning, pricing strategies, customer retention, and continuous innovation are key management principles driving the success of streaming services. By focusing on these management principles, streaming service providers can enhance customer value, achieve sustainable growth, and stay ahead in a competitive industry. The streaming landscape is challenging, but with the right strategies, it presents tremendous opportunities for growth and innovation.